What if I use a hint coin here in order to tell whether I'm prepared or not? Let's do that. Okay, so it is something that I have. It's not something where I need to go and get more testimony. Something that exists in this town but shouldn't. I think I know what you're getting at, Professor. Present your evidence. Oh, it counts already. Oh, wait! They want me to present one of the spells? I guess it's gonna be the fireworm, but what in the hell? I'm glad I used the hint coin because it would have been 10 more tries before I even would have thought, oh, I probably have to present a spell. Where the hell are you getting this, Phoenix? Is he going to prove that magic doesn't exist? Is that it? Does magic not exist and all of this has been accomplished with technology? I have a feeling no one is going to like the answer I'm about to give, and it'll probably end up shaking this town to its core. But I've got to tell them. The truth has to come out. Since I arrived here in Labyrinthia, there's been no shortage of really strange events. Badler would be proud. Ignace, Demir, Godor, Goldor, and now Grandworm. You forgot about the sleep spell Fanefall. The mere command of magic itself. The mere command of magic is in itself a crime, is it not? In this town, witches are arrested and made to participate in witch trials. They are then sentenced to death by fire. But none of those witches actually died. That supposed death by fire wasn't real. And neither is magic. It doesn't really exist. We did it. We got there. There's no such thing as magic, just invisible people. Nanomachines! It wasn't magic, it was nanomachines. What are you saying, Defender? The Eldwitch Woods apparently contain some rather large machines, unlike anything that exists in Labyrinthia. Machines that emit fire and produce large plumes of smoke. To top it all off, the citizens of Labyrinthia are not able to see said machines. It sounds like nothing more than magic. Yes, that's exactly it, Your Honor. Ms. Darklaw. Magic doesn't really exist in this town. That's the answer, isn't it? Magic does not... What utter nonsense! It seems we have finally arrived at the stunning conclusion. The secret behind Labyrinthia. It's just sufficiently advanced technology, so it's indistinguishable from magic. Order, order, order! What is this? What is the meaning of this? It means that all of the magic you've seen in this town was just invisible people. With nothing more than an illusion created and put into motion by the shades. But Defender, the witches, we have clearly seen them use magic. Let us take a moment to think about the systems employed by the shades. Systems? What is essential in order for a witch to use magic? The walls have to be green. The witch must possess a Telea Magica.
I can't do it if you want to.
Must say, blind umpire, you're here right at the big twist.
Can't do it if you're leering at me.
Right at the big twist. Magic isn't real, and actually, neither is summoning your dead sister's spirit. So Maya's also a fake. We're proving that too. And the spells able to be cast are determined by the scepter's magic gems. Now, what do you think is the purpose of placing such requirements on the use of magic? What do you mean, purpose? These requirements are not there to allow the user to cast magic. Rather, the reality is they are there to inform the shades of who should be using magic. It is possible that witches were always being closely observed by shades. The surveillance camera. That's why they donned these robes, to appear hidden until they were needed to create magic. Create? Indeed. Yeah, they were just green screen. They put on the green. Yeah, that's everybody in Labyrinthia is colorblind. What if when you looked at a shade, all you saw was pizza? Actually, where's Volton Phase? He's not here. Volton Phase couldn't be here tonight. Indeed, there are all kinds of spells within this tome, things that you could not replicate with technology, like walking through a wall. Or no, we didn't walk through a wall. Somebody strangled someone through a wall. It would be quite troublesome if they were simply allowed to use any spell at will. Yeah, it would make the Shade's job that much more difficult. For sure. Soul Shadow is here. That counts. Surveillance camera, second floor basement. Super baby method. A hind D. Precisely so. That is why it was imperative a certain restriction be placed on the use of magic. You're referring to the Telea Magica, right, Professor? Of course. No wonder the scepter could only contain 2 magic gems. Why don't... What do you mean? Then there's the incantation. What would happen if a witch could simply whisper the incantation quietly to herself, or even not say it at all? Boy, that'd be so cool. I'd be casting spells all day long and no one would ever see it coming. Maya, we spent an entire trial proving that you weren't a witch, remember? If the witches didn't give some sort of signal, then there would be no way for the Shades to know when to cast the spell. Right you are, Mr. Wright. The incantations were a way of telling the Shades when the witch was ready to use magic. What on earth? Never did I think these requirements should have such a purpose. Can we just point out that there are many of these that could not be accomplished with nanomachines, like walking through a green wall, transmuting the caster into solid gold. I guess if you had the nanomachine cloak, you could just throw that over whatever's supposed to be invisible. Sure, why not? What if everything is nanomachines? What if? What if everything is vocal cord parasites? Now, let's think back to the previous events leading up to today that have involved magic. Yes, let's do that. Let's do that. Okay. Our first encounter with magic was the use of the spell Ignace a few nights ago. A spell like this was nothing more than a flame spewed by a machine being used by the Shades. Then that means Demir. A spell that makes the caster disappear? No doubt about it. It must have been this magic robe. That proves magic doesn't exist. Next is the incident with Goldor, the spell that transmuted me into a gold statue. While I understand this may sound a bit absurd, I can only surmise that even though Layton wasn't... They just have a golden statue of every single person in every single position pre-prepared and hanging out, and then they just pull a real quick switcheroo, right? That the Shades created a gold statue in my image, took me, and left it in my place the instant the incantation was uttered. I thought you said it was going to be hard to believe. Professor, it's no more absurd than anything else that's happened so far. Clearly not. You never know. You never know when you're going to need one. You go, we just prepared a golden statue. Because he wasn't even supposed to be there, right? Phoenix was there. Phoenix and Maya were the ones in there. And he, like, ran at top speed. I can only, like, he's like, we gotta get to the thing. We gotta get there before the whatever. And the Shades are, like, following behind him, like, carrying a gold statue as fast as they can. Like, damn it, don't get there before us. We need time to set up. We can therefore conclude that all of the magic in Labyrinthia was created in a similar vein. What do you say to that, Miss Darklaw? I'd expect nothing less from you, Inquisitor Layton. At any given time, there were between 5 and 10? Oh, that's the number of witches. Okay. There were between 5 and 10 witches in town. All of the witches were accompanied by Shades at all times. They didn't even stop for a pee break. It was easier than you would think. Objection. You see, the Shades living in the Eldritch Woods totals in the hundreds doesn't matter. That's not enough. It was simply a matter of having each of the Shades operate in shifts in order to watch over each of the witches within the town. I must say, Lady Darklaw, that is quite a number of Shades. It was not only those who fell victim to the flames that were turned into Shades, but their victims, too, were made permanent residents of the Eldritch Woods. Then, those two shady thieves, of course, they stood on top of a landmine, or they stood on top of a cache of dynamite, and then at the instant, while there were 18 people all watching, because we had to... All of them took the witness stand at the same time. The Shades were like, okay, ready? Countdown. She's gonna say Ignace. Okay, detonate the... Whoa. Order of events. First, we have to cover them up with invisibility cloaks and tackle them out of the way, and then explode the dynamite, and you're fine. And then remember to follow the witch around in order to pull the invisibility cloak off of her, because she canceled the spell, because she dropped her glasses, because her glasses were on the outside of the cloak, inside of the cloak. Who knows? None of this is... No. I don't accept this. This is silly. Especially the glasses thing. Like, I was already upset about the whole... My glasses turned invisible, and I can still see through them until I dropped them, but... Blah. Alright. Ah, yes, you mean Robs and Mugs. Despite their dubious appearance, those two were a couple of my best Shades. Shady thieves turned into Shades. The stuff writes itself. I cannot believe what I have heard. However, there is still one thing. One thing. He's going to ask one question. One question. There's still one thing I do not understand just yet. And what would that be?
As has just been explained, we have established that there is no possibility of magic being real. But replacing me with a gold statue to give the illusion of transmutation, for example, while it sounds simple enough, I myself, and presumably also Ms. Fay, have no recollection of this replacement actually taking place.
Hey, that's right. The professor got all bling-blingy before I could even bat an eye.
It begs the question, how and when was that statue created, let alone used to replace me?
They have time-stop nanomachines, that's all.
That is true.
They have stands. They have enemy stands. It's fine. They can stop time. It's not magic. Doesn't count. The same goes for Godor. It's supposed to create a portal between two green-colored walls.
Perhaps that is exactly why the spell can only work on green walls, Mr. Wright.
Explain yourself. Still, it'd be impossible for the Shades to get those portals ready so quickly.
I agree. If we take a moment to think, we can see that all of these spells have one strange thing in common.
A thing in common?
Yes, indeed. Almost as if some time between the start and the end of the incident was unaccounted for.
King Crimson?
Furthermore, any memory I might have had regarding the incident seems to have simply disappeared in the process.
I've got it. Nick. It's just like what happened to Kira. She's got absolutely no memory of her life in Labyrinthia before the trial, right? Yes, I do not remember this Kira you speak of. And, oh yeah, when you really think about it, doesn't it seem super weird how the Shades are able to return? How the Shades are able to return to town if they complete their tasks? You're right, Maya. I mean, the townsfolk are bound to remember some things about them, right? Like how Ms. Kira here threw a major hissy fit in court and was barbecued for being a witch.
Eloquently put, Mr. Wright.
Yeah, Phoenix stole your line there about the shady thieves.
Hence, we cannot conclude that this entire illusion was primarily accomplished through the use of machinery. Simply put, there must have been some way of affecting the memories of all those within the confines of this town.
Missing time and lost memories? What do you think this is, a Danganronpa game? You are correct. There is, in fact, a secret that lies within the depths of the Eldritch Woods. Something that the people of this town cannot see. Something that can rob people of their time and memories. 'Tis the very thing that connects all of what you have heard tonight. 'Tis a secret of monumental proportions. Should I save again? And, let me guess, 'tis a secret that cannot be revealed by the mistress of the Eldritch Woods. Is that right? Yes. An excellent deduction, Defender. You see, we have everyone in the town wear these bracelets that have a highly specific administer a drug that causes you to lose your memory for a very, 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 very specific frame of time. Conveniently, witches' souls wander astray within the Eldritch Woods. Until tonight, I thought this nothing but a mere fairy tale told to children. But it has become clear that a seemingly large organization lies within that forest. we could be in the Matrix as well. The Witch's Court is the border between this world and the other world. Then that means, in this world, you're Labyrinthia's High Inquisitor, while also being mistress to the Shades in the other world. Otherwise known as the Great Witch.
May I intervene for just a moment, Mr. Wright?
Sure.
In all honesty, there is still something that sticks out as a little odd, particularly in Miss Darklaw's previous testimony.
Did you say the previous testimony? I'd already pushed that out of my head.
There was one vital truth that we managed to take away from that testimony.
You mean that magic does not truly exist in Labyrinthia?
Indeed.
Quite the vital, albeit shocking, truth.
However, there is one more truth hidden within that same testimony.
There's something else in that testimony? I must have checked the court record more times than I can count, but I didn't find a single other contradiction.
Have you forgotten already, Mr. Wright? When there is no evidence left, we have but one more weapon at our disposal with which to uncover the truth.
Oh, hey, I've got it, Nick. Remember, in a witch trial, you can cross-examine two witnesses at the same time. Hey, that's right, I completely forgot. Okay. Being able to have a look at two testimonies side by side is bound to turn up a contradiction somewhere.
And that contradiction should provide us with a much-needed clue.
I'm not entirely sure where the professor is going with this, but I believe in his judgment. Besides, if we're going to blow this case wide open, it's got to be worth a shot. Very well. We will now take a closer look at Lady Darklaw's previous testimony.
This is it. Miss Darklaw's previous testimony. There is a glaring contradiction between this piece of testimony and the others. Ready yourself, Mr. Wright.
And what are we supposed to do here? Those that are put to the flames in the witch trials become shades who live their lives in the woods. Lady Darklaw was our venerable mistress. She assigned us our task. She was the great witch. I am not a witch, nor am I a wandering spirit. There is but one true purpose for the shades that dwell within the Eldwitch Woods.
Objection!
This isn't that. The contradiction between Ms. Darklaw's testimony and the previous testimonies is right there!
Mr. Wright. Mr. Wright, please, wait a moment. Perhaps you would be better served not leaving this up to chance, would you not agree?
I thought it was going to be that Maya, right? There's still a contradiction that Maya didn't lose her memories. If anything is going to contradict, you think it would have to come from Kira. Okay, fine. If it's not one, it's got to be the other. The technical term is process of elimination, Nick. The technical term is save scumming, as we are reloading our save. Thanks for the pro tip, Maya. No need to continue the trial. Guilty. Fortunately, I have a time machine. It makes everything better. Did you see it? I don't quite see it. Now that Maya's hint narrowed it down to only the two... Wait, did I load the wrong one? Does the save really take you this far back? Or did I load the wrong one? Oh no. Alright, we got a lot of clicking to do. I think maybe I saved it too soon? Like, this whole thing where it doesn't save you on the exact statement means if you don't get past a certain threshold, it doesn't count as saving on the next question. That's really too bad. Especially because I do want to finish this tonight now. We're close enough. We've got to be. We're just about to write the manga and then do DDR against a giant Junko and finish up the game. I'm sure of it. So we can run a little late in order to finish this up. It shouldn't be more than... And we got half an hour left in the stream. I think if we take a full hour, that should be fine. We'll get to the end within an hour. Unless this happens again. Do 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 do. Alright, so I have to make sure that just before we hit the question, I have to save it again. Let's hope this counts. Actually, maybe we'll save it even one more time. He told me to ready myself. That means save here. Oh, I didn't catch that either, that we're doing, like, we're picking a testimony to contradict that testimony? Live outside the realm. So, like, this isn't a contradiction. She's saying, to them, I'm known as the Great Witch. And she's like, to us, she is known as the Great Witch. That's when she's saying, if she says she's not a witch, but Darklaw is a shade, why would they call her a witch? Neither one of these. I'm not happy with either one of these. Just gonna do that one, I guess. We saved appropriately this time, so it should be okay.
Objection.
Okay, why is this the right answer? Your Honor, there's obviously a huge discrepancy between these two pieces of testimony that are almost literally word for word. What is the difference? Tell me. Did one of them forget a comma? Ms. Darklaw stated that she is known as the Great Witch. However, according to Ms. Kira's testimony, what in the hell? What are you talking? Wait, was her venerable mistress? Is this some localization flippery? What is this? Her venerable mistress, the Great Witch.
That is correct. She was the Great Witch.
Get the hell out of here. The word was. Okay, fine. Fine. Go with it.
Note Ms. Kira's use of the past tense.
Past tense? I'm afraid my grammar is not quite what it used to be. May I ask what you mean? It's simple. Ms. Darklaw was mistress to the Shades, or as they also called her, the Great Witch. Therefore, she is no longer the Great Witch. That needed an extra, yeah. That needed an extra word in there. Like, was once, right? You could have said was once. Because if, I don't like it. I don't like it. I gotta hurry, though. Alright, she is not the Great Witch. Witness, is this true? It is as you have heard, my lord. I relinquished my position as Great Witch in order to fulfill the objective of this task. What would that objective be again?
That would be the assassination of the storyteller, Your Honor.
Witness! At the beginning of this trial, you stated that you came to town in order to complete your task, didn't you? What's more, you said that you were going to summon the fire dragon to do it. Now, this task, it wasn't Ms. Darklaw here that gave it to you, was it? No, it wasn't. Maya is the Great Witch. That's why she didn't lose her memory. That could that really could happen. That really could happen right now. We could turn to the right and Maya's eyes are glowing red and she's surrounded by golden butterflies. And she's like, "You figured it out, Nick." Mwahaha.
So then, the most pressing question is, who was it that gave you that task? Who told you to come to Labyrinthia and assassinate the storyteller?
I cannot tell you. No matter what. Hey, where have I heard that phrase before? Oh, it was the last time you told us something you couldn't tell us no matter what. Alright, so Darklaw isn't the Great Witch anymore. Which must mean the mastermind behind this entire thing is...
It would seem the defense has worked it out as well. Mr. Wright, you know who really gave Ms. Kira her task tonight, do you not?
Defender, I ask that you enlighten the court. Do it again. I hate to be so paranoid with the saving, but it really is like 5 minutes at least of backtracking for some of these failures. Show us who really gave the witness. It was the storyteller.
Take that!
The storyteller?
No. The storyteller. We're talking about someone with the authority and power to replace the Great Witch. Someone who calls the shots. The shot caller. I mean the storyteller. I can't think of anyone else that meets those criteria except for the storyteller himself. Preposterous! Then that would mean...
Exactly, Your Honor. It means that the storyteller gave this final task to Kira himself. He was, in short, responsible for his own assassination.
What? Order, order, order in the court. But for what purpose? Why would he plan his own assassination?
That I cannot say, Your Honor. However, the final chapter of the story does tell of his inevitable death. While he assigned this task to Kira himself, it is perfectly natural that he would do so. However,
again with the howevers,
what is not natural is your behavior tonight, Miss Darklaw.
What was unnatural about the High Inquisitor's behavior?
You were once the head of all the Shades, and yet tonight you tried to interfere with the storyteller's plan. You rendered Ms. Kira unconscious and locked her away in the belfry of the bell tower. That, to me, seems like the activity of someone aiming to put a stop to his plan altogether.
Indeed. Lady Darklaw, what would be the reason for such behavior?
I leave that to you. Tell him, Naigi.
Based on what we've seen in this trial, the defense believes Miss Darklaw's reason for covering up her actions tonight can only be attributed to one thing. This plan was handed down by the storyteller himself, and Ms. Darklaw was definitely aiming to put a wrench in it, but why? Both of those are the same thing. Sabotage the plan and betray the storyteller should, according to, like, normal world logic, be exactly the same thing, meaning that neither one of them is correct. But anyway, it's probably this anyway. Could it have been that she was trying to protect the storyteller? Exactly. No. This is wrong, isn't it? That explains why she locked up Miss Kira, the big bad scary witch, in the belfry.
Please think a little harder, Mr. Wright. Ms. Darklaw was carrying Miss Cantabella to the bell tower, so that she could appear as the Great Witch Bezella.
Ah.
Following that, the storyteller perished. I do not believe anything about her actions tonight indicate an intention to protect.
That's true.
It is my belief that this was an act of betrayal.
Do I still lose a hit point? Betrayal, of course. I should have seen that one a mile away.
The storyteller used the Great Witch Bezella.
yeah, Witch Kira. I haven't made a Death Note joke. Even though it was very easy to. Mukuro Ikasaba, the 16th witch hiding somewhere in the Old Witch Woods. Kyotsuke. The one they call the Great Witch.
The storyteller used the Great Witch Bezella to take his own life. Instructions to carry out the plan were given to Miss Kira. However, Miss Darklaw planned to intervene and change the scenario at the very last minute.
She planned to do so by changing the identity of the Great Witch from Ms. Kira to Miss Cantabella.
Thus bringing us to our current situation. Ms. Cantabella on trial for the murder of her father at the hands of Bezella. You, Miss Darklaw, seem to harbor a rather strong hatred for the storyteller, if I am not mistaken.
Goo. A hatred, you say? Yes, I suppose you could call it that. That's right. Behold, my revenge. Did you say revenge?
Ms. Darklaw, will you please tell the court of your plan for revenge?
If you insist. The High Inquisitor, and also the Great Witch. Long have I donned those two masks, one as Labyrinthia's protector, the other its harbinger of destruction. In other words, I was merely meant to serve him. Did we never notice that her little cat ears are actually the same color and style as the, well, we haven't seen this in a long time. Although she is wearing the same glove as well, with the same eye symbol on it that's on her face. And yet, he sought to selfishly pen the ending of the story under his own terms. He did not care enough about me, or any of the townspeople, to allow us the dignity of deciding our own fate. Indeed, what we witnessed tonight was the cowardly act of a man looking for an easy way to end that which he could not properly finish. He cared for no one but himself, hence this sudden sham of an ending. And for that, I will never forgive him.
What do you mean by sham of an ending? I thought Season 8 of Game of Thrones was fantastic.
The Great Witch Bezella is to summon a dragon of fire and end the life of the creator. She will then be put on trial and judged, thus heralding a period of peace and prosperity for all Labyrinthia. Such is the ending written for this town and its people. 'Tis not an ending I oppose in principle, Who would not wish a happy ending for their own people? However, the problem lies in Bizella's identity. Bizella's identity? As you know, he assigned the role of the Great Witch to this girl beside me.
But you're saying that was a falsehood, is that correct?
I knew Bizella's true identity. 'Tis not something I could ever forget. That is why I went to the bell tower. It is why I took the accused there. I did it to ensure the true witch foretold in the story was given the judgment she was due. The true witch? You don't mean... Yes, I speak of none other than Espella Cantabella.
Objection!
Ms. Darklaw, there is a glaring contradiction in your statement. And what would that be? It's supposedly common knowledge that Bizella is capable of using all magic. However, that is far from the truth. Magic does not actually exist in this town. It was all one giant illusion created by the Shades. Therefore, the Great Witch Bizella cannot exist either. He's getting a lot of dots for that. You fool. Defender. You really don't have a clue, do you? But wait just a minute now. Is the Defender not correct? If magic does not exist, then it goes without saying that witches do not exist either. That would include the Great Witch, would it not? That's right. They've been lying to us this whole time. Dastards? Like people who are dastardly? Is that a word? I'll have to look it up later. Freaking dastards? It must be. You can't be dastardly without being a dastard.
Objection!
Mr. Wright, there is a fundamental mistake in your argument.
What do you mean?
I have but one simple question.
This is your 10th single question. Give it to me. Hit me.
What exactly is Bizella?
Huh? Well, she's supposed to be the head of all witches.
Allow me to reword the question.
Allow me to turn the chessboard around.
The Great Witch Bizella is the root of all disaster within Labyrinthia. Knowing that, what specific disaster might she have been the root of?
That would be, I just thought of something. We've been hearing Bizella's name left and right since we got here, but not once has the real Bizella shown up in person.
Indeed, Miss Fay. Bizella herself has been virtually absent from the story thus far.
But Inquisitor, did she not claim the life of the storyteller tonight?
It would appear so, Your Honor. However, there is just one more thing. Consider this. Which particular story is every citizen of Labyrinthia most familiar with?
Well, that would have to be the legendary fire, right?
Precisely.
Surely you're not serious. As the name implies, that is but a mere legend. No one knows for certain if it occurred. They really want me to make the airplane joke.
So they say, but the reality is there are still traces of that terrible fire within the town today.
The professor's right. We've even seen some of it up close and personal. Hey, yeah, at the Great Archive. The Great Witch is just a scapegoat. It was the goat! It was the goat all along. You are indeed correct, Inquisitor. Littered throughout the town are burnt remnants of a fire most fierce. However, no one can say for certain what transpired back then. You see, not a single soul saw what actually happened. Let me see if I have this straight. There's an entire town full of people and no one saw what happened?
Correct. Except for one particular person.
What?
There was one person who saw everything. I am speaking, of course, of the one responsible for the fire itself. The Great Witch Bezella.
Yes. I remember it. All of it. Espella, what are you saying? When I close my eyes, I can picture it so vividly. The awful sight of the flames engulfing everything they touched. The scorching heat on my skin, the smell of burning cinder all around me. The large plumes of black smoke. Stop zooming in. Okay, thank you. The warm tears streaming down my face. I remember it all. What you are recalling now is the moment the Great Witch Bezella destroyed our town. Is it gonna be like she set a book on fire? Is that the deal? All of this is taking place inside of the book, and she, in the real, somebody set a book on fire, and actually the whole thing is a dream? Is Phoenix gonna wake up at the end, and the whole thing was a dream? I don't know where I got that from. It appears my role here is finished. As for the rest, I leave it in your capable hands, Inquisitor. Huh? Darklaw, she just vanished into thin air. She's right. These memories are proof that I am Bezella. But Espella...
Mr. Wright, remember, if you will, what I said at the beginning of this trial. I came here to prove that Espella Cantabile is, in reality, the Great Witch, Bezella.
Right.
There is still one more thing I wish to present to the court. I would now like to call the final witness to the stand.
The final witness?
Hold it!
If that's frickin' Amir...
Ah, it would appear he has arrived.
Oh no, it's a storyteller. It sounded like it could have been Amir. She vanished, but without magic. She just had an extra... well, there was still a cloak unaccounted for, an invisibility cloak. So she did throw that cloak on. That was what happened. I guess.
Ladies and gentlemen of the court, I give you this trial's final witness, the storyteller.
This makes it seem like we're gonna have a good hour still. I guess we'll keep going, though. And just like that, he appeared. The man who died not hours before, and the victim of this very trial, the storyteller himself. The professor sure chose one heck of a final witness. Morning is drawing closer and closer. How this trial will end is anyone's guess. Oh, if they actually made it its own chapter, it's probably more than an hour long. I think we're gonna have to save it for tomorrow. We're gonna have to save it for tomorrow. Because I can't keep I do have work tonight, and I still have to eat before I go to work. So, does it at least say final chapter? Epilogue. Epilogue, the first story. Yeah, okay. So we've got it saved. We've got it saved, and we will do the epilogue, which is, like I said, probably not like a quick half-hour thing. There's probably a bit more to this, so thank you guys for tuning in. And then they all turn to sand. Exactly. Wrong game. Radiant Historia, not, what is this place called? Wait, what is this place called? Historica? I forgot already. Anyway, we will have an extra stream tomorrow, around normal time, around 6 o'clock. Labyrinthia. No, wait. Oh, it's the book that's called... Oh, what is the book called? we're in Labyrinthia, but there was a name for the book that was... I don't know. I've forgotten. No, Kenjima. No. Alright, so stream tomorrow at 6 to finish this game up, and then Saturday will be Baba Is You, which, as usual, I am both looking forward to it and also terrified by the prospect of playing more of it.